Hello, Dr. Cronrath here, one of the candidates running from the Eau Claire Area School District Board. Tonight, I want to walk through kind of how I think and how I look at policies and if I see if they're on track or think they're a little bit off track. So first, what I want to do is start. I got an email from the board about a board meeting coming up, and I went over to the policies to take a look. Under Board Preamble, there's the Eau Claire School District Equity Statement. Well, one, definition of equity. I don't see it defined here. Equity is actually a legal term, comes from 13th century English, and it's the equitable courts. So when the common law or a law is terribly and unfairly implemented against a group of people or to an individual, then you went to the equitable courts. If the law didn't cover the area, then you went to those equitable courts. So start off, equity, by that definition, do I want laws or policies to be terribly unfair and implemented in that kind of fashion? No, I don't. I think everyone will agree that we are for equity by that definition. I'm assuming that's the same definition that we're utilizing here, as again, I don't see it defined. But let's take a quick look and see what this says here. Looking through this real quick, and this sentence actually catches my eye right here. And it's our predominantly white privileged perspective, culture, and system is failing our students and families of color. That's a very strong statement. And then they go on to say we're going to increase equity by dismantling systemic barriers to full participation for our marginal students. Okay, if this is happening, I definitely want to dismantle those, but what are these systemic barriers and how have we defined that this is occurring within the Eau Claire Area School District? Reading through here a little bit more, we actually hear some supporting evidence. The Civil Rights Project, not 100% sure what that is, gonna have to Google it and take a look. I believe it ties back to UCLA though. And it says Black high school students in Wisconsin are suspended at a higher rate than anywhere else in the country, and Wisconsin has the second highest disparity in suspension rates between whites and blacks elementary school students. Okay, so we're talking about suspension. Do we have anything else here supporting the very strong claim that we're failing students and families of color due to our predominantly white privileged perspective? Not really seeing anything in the shared understanding, then they're going into their commitment. All right, well, let's see if we're failing our students, because I don't want that. You don't want that. No one wants to be failing our students because of the color of their skin. I like to use the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction data, the Wisedash here, that I go into. And I believe a good metric to look at this would be graduation rates. So let's go to graduation rates. Let's go to high school completion. Let's go ahead and look at trends. So we go into our filter data. Let's go ahead and group it by our race, ethnicity. And what do we have going on our graduation? Let's go ahead and work backwards from year 2020. All right, let's look at our non-white students. The largest minority, Asians, 68. They're actually graduating at a much higher rate than whites. So white privilege perspective, not really holding up there. Hispanics at 51, 2 or more at 51, for a total of 32 students in those groupings. Well, yeah, I don't want to see that. That is a drop off there for those two for that graduation year. All right, so that is concerning. Let's go look at graduation year 2019. Whites, Asians are again outperforming whites. Oh, we have blacks here outperforming whites. So in year 2019, it did not appear that the white privilege was hurting our patients of our students of color. Hispanics are a little bit low there, and 2 or more, a little bit lower. Okay. Well, maybe there's another population we can focus on that could be gapped. And I hypothesize that it's going to be your socioeconomic status. The reason I do that is I come from the lower socioeconomic status. I went through public school. I know how I didn't apply myself and how I had to work a little bit harder to get through, and then took the military, some discipline, and some other characteristics I was missing to become the dual board certified physician with the master's in public health I am today. So let's take a look at that data. We can easily do that. We can filter our data. We can group by, and we can go to economic status. And we have a trend. So what are the numbers we're looking at? The absolute numbers. We're looking at 50, no, 186. We're looking at about 3 times the number of students. So maybe what we could do is reallocate our resources from color of skin to socioeconomic status to help more people and more kids be successful post-secondary. Because you have to graduate in order to get that next step for most schools. And success post-secondary isn't just going to the university. That is probably a little bit overblown. It's looking at truck drivers. It's looking at welding. It's looking at electricians. There's a whole lot of other ways, bus drivers, the agriculture and farming. So let's get back to the topic at hand though. And so it really looks like focusing on socioeconomic status would be better here. Well, let's go look up the Civil Rights Project, which I did. That's why I knew it was tied with UCLA, because I had looked this up before. And what do we have here? Let's go to the website. I'm assuming this is where they are. There was no citation on the policy if this is what they're talking about. And they said there's this research about Wisconsin specifically. Maybe it's under research here. Let's go to research. I don't see anything that says Wisconsin specifically. Maybe we can search the site. Wisconsin. Don't quite see Wisconsin. I guess we're going to have to get a little more data on this citation to look at this Civil Rights Project, the methodology, how this came on the suspension rates. Are those suspensions occurring here in Eau Claire? Or is that not an issue here in Eau Claire? I don't know. I don't have the data for that. But thank you for taking the time to look through how my brain works a little bit and how I look at a policy and if it's in the right direction or not. And that now you see how I do it. So if you like what you see and you like that kind of thinking, vote me, Doc C, for ECASD.